Hello and welcome to a complete updated guide on Ningguang. This video we will cover over her artifacts, constellations, talents, weapons, and her unique mechanism of star jade. And we'll also discussing about her animation cancelling. Let's get started. Normal attack. Since she is a geo catalyst user, so her auto attack does geo damage. Now, each time her normal attack hits an enemy, she gains 1 star jade. That is up to 3 if you're constellation 5 or lower. If you're constellation 6, you get 7 star jades. And with the help of the passive backup plan, if you have any of the star jades, your charge attacks will not consume stamina. Since she is a catalyst user and her charge attack consumes 50 stamina, this passive prevents it. So one of the effective rotation becomes a normal attack into a charge attack and repeating the cycle. Or you can go for 3 normal attacks into a charge attack. And the special thing about these star jades is that once you use your charge attack, these star jades will be projected towards the enemy and will be counted as charge attack damage. So any buffs to the charge attack will increase the damage dealt by these star jades. It has a very high skill damage with a 12-second cooldown, and it is considered as a geo construct based on Ningguang's max HP. And it can also help in blocking opponents' projectiles. It is an ability that deals a lot of damage based on the number of gems you have. When you're using the burst, it generates up to 6 gems, and that is why in order to get like a very high damage scaling, we use her skill before her burst. When a jade screen is active and on the field and your burst is used, the jade screen will shatter and generate 6 more gems, dealing burst damage. That is why it's always recommended to see if a jade screen is active on the field and then only use your burst. Sometimes 1 or 2 of these gems might not hit an enemy, but it does help in dealing a lot of damage. And one of her passives, that is this one, strategic reserve. Each time a character passes through the jade screen, that character will gain up to 12% geo damage bonus for 10 seconds. Once again, auto attacks. Each time an auto attack hits an enemy, gains 1 star jade, up to 3 if you're constellation 5 or lower. And when you're using this with the help of when you're using the charge attack with the help of the passive, this charge attack will not consume any stamina, so that makes one of the effective rotations a normal attack into a charge attack, or 3 normal attacks into a charge attack. And the burst is based on number of gems that you can make. The burst makes 6 gems, and if you're using your skill right before you burst, it makes 6 gems from the jade screen and 6 gems from the burst. Now, since we discussed about her talents, let's go over the priority. If you're main DPSing Ningguang, I recommend you go for normal attack first, then your burst, and then your skill. If you're building her as a quick swap, and if you're C6, you should go for her burst, then her normal attack, and then the skill. If you're not C6, you should go for the burst, then the skill, and then the auto attack. And it is primarily required that you raise all of the talents to level 6, since basically all of her kit deals damage and there is no part of it wasted. Now for animation cancelling, it is the W key plus auto attack, so that her auto attacks hits the enemy quite quicker. And while doing the charge attacks, it is recommended that you leave the W key and then do the charge attack. Artifacts. Her artifacts in 2 words is resin efficient. The best in slot will be 2-piece archaic petra with 2 pieces of a set that gives 18% attack for a main DPS. If you're building her as a burst quickswap, a 2-piece archaic petra with 2-piece noblesse. A situationally good set is 4-piece bull-eyed, and if you're main DPSing Ningguang and running a Zhongli. And if you run a Zhongli in an elemental reaction comp, 4-piece archaic petra for the 40% elemental damage bonus will also work. 5-star best in slot will be Kagura's Verity for the elemental damage bonus and the crit damage. You can run a skyward atlast for the elemental damage bonus, high base attack, and great passive. If you have the Lost Prayers, it is also good, but it requires you to main DPS Ningguang, and you cannot use Lost Prayers if your Ningguang runs on a quickswap team. Next, Memory of Dust. It's a not recommended kind of weapon, but if you have it leveled up, you can use it. 4-star ones, best in slot will be the widseth, due to its high crit damage, and 2 out of 3 passives, that is elemental mastery passive, is useless. Other than that, the 2 passive, that is elemental damage bonus and the attack, is very good. This is a weapon that can give you the most damage in one rotation. And if you have the solar pearl that gives you crit rate and buffs the entire kit except charge attack, you can run that as well. And if you're playing this game since a long time, you can also run the Dodo Curtails, as it buffs the charge attack and the normal attack. Now, if you have a Black Cliff Catalyst, it's an okayish kind of weapon due to its crit damage, but it's not that useful when you're fighting any bosses, because its passive becomes useless. And for the 3 stars, you can go for Twin Nephrite for the crit rate and the movement speed and attack. But it's better if you go for the widseth. You can use it as a stepping stone as well. Now, for constellations, C1 converts your normal attack, which is an AoE, which converts your normal attack into AoE. C2 resets the cooldown of your elemental skill when you use your elemental skill right before your burst. This can occur once every 6 seconds. C3 and C5 adds +3 to your talents. C4 increases the elemental resistance by 10% of all characters. The only on-field character that is near the jade screen. C6 makes your Ningguang gain 7-star jades. Now, if you're C5 and less, you'll have 3, and if you're C6, you'll have 7-star jades. So the recommended constellations are C2 and C6.